Major indicator the city of Seattle is faltering. Whole Foods closing its Capitol Hill location this month. Capitol Hill being Chop and Chaz, also a community known for LGBTQ+, and a lot of affluent people living there that can afford whole food prices, whole paycheck, some call it. So why did they close? Was it safety issues? Let's get into it. Here we go. Now, this is a wild story because this isn't just any old grocery store in any old location. This is in the heart of Capitol Hill. There should be zero issues of people shopping, number one, at this store, and this store making money. It's in a community that has money to spend on expensive groceries. Whole paycheck. I mean, it's owned by Amazon, right? And it's expensive. I shop at Whole Foods just up over here in Bellevue every now and then. I'll go there because I need something at the grocery store and it's close to, the freeway wherever I'm going. But do I go there to just buy all my groceries? No, it is outrageously expensive. It's like, pucker up expensive, right? I'd far rather go to Trader Joe's. I know a lot of you just don't like Trader Joe's. I think Trader Joe's is the best thing ever. I think it's great because for me, I don't want 1,000,001 effing choices of peanut butter. I want like 2. I'll take the unsalted or the salted. You know what I mean? It's not quite that simple, but yeah, it's more like that than when you go into the cereal aisle at a regular grocery store and you're looking around going, wow, I am overwhelmed at the choices. I guess I'll get this one. Whole Foods closing in Capitol Hill. To me, I think, here's what I think's happened. I think you've got major safety issues, and I think you've got major safety issues in a lot of these big businesses that are closing down. Grocery stores, Starbucks, restaurants. You've got major safety issues, and I think there's an element in there with insurance where you've got enough crazy stuff going on. And I've talked about this many, many times. You got enough crazy stuff going on in the streets, bring it into your business location. And if you're a big corporate structure, you want to avoid safety issues like, a tourist from Argentina was murdered today in a Seattle Starbucks. They're trying to eliminate that type of PR. And in Capitol Hill, you've got a lot of shenanigans going on. You got a whole bunch of homeless people because what they've done is they've closed up. Let's get a map going here. All right. So here's what we're dealing with in Seattle. 12th Avenue and South Jackson. That is the International District. That has been heavily cleaned up. So where do all those degenerates go? Where do all those drug addicts go? Where do all the drug dealers go? Where do the people buying and selling stolen goods? Where do they all go? Well, here's that red at the bottom, right? Here's Cal Anderson Park, just a little to the north. Yeah, it's not a stretch. Due north, don't even have to cross I-5. You just go a handful of blocks north and there you are. Capitol Hill. Now, where is this restaurant or this Whole Foods is right where I've got the yellow marker here. It's right there. So this has all been cleared out. Is it a stretch that is impacting Whole Foods? No. And you've also got the storyline, and I looked at a whole bunch of stories on this, and it had to do with the complex. Whole Foods is located in a massive apartment complex, and it was recently sold for, we'll read the story. Whole Foods Market Store in Capitol Hill, located in Madison and Broadway, shuttering its doors. The store rested at the base of the Danforth apartment building. The 2-level, 40,000 square foot market debuted in Capitol Hill in October 2018. I mean, it's only been in business a handful of years. And corporate is saying, nope, we're out. We're just going to pull the eject button. Don't be afraid to visit us at our other locations, but that Capitol Hill one, not so much. All team members, here's the corporate talk, right? All team members will transfer to roles at nearby Whole Foods market locations. We regularly evaluate the performance and growth potential of our stores and make decisions to position the company for long-term success. Well, let's talk about that for a second. An upscale grocery in Capitol Hill where you've got a demand for that kind of thing because a bunch of other grocery stores have closed down and drugstores have closed down. Yeah, I think you got like a Walgreens and probably a Bartell's and maybe a CVS. You got all kinds of stores that have closed. We regularly evaluate the performance, okay, and how'd the performance do? It couldn't have been terrible, couldn't have been awful, because you got plenty of people walking around doing grocery shopping and growth potential of our stores. All right, what's the growth potential look like? Good Lord, well, how many whacked out nut jobs are going to be screaming at the clouds, outside of our store? A bunch. This is Seattle. A bunch. So Whole Foods said, yep, we're done. We're done. We've got an option out of our lease, whatever it was. We're not gonna go here anymore. And make decisions to position the company for long-term success. The store's performance and growth potential were cited as reasons to close the Broadway Whole Foods grocery store. Performance and growth potential. And Whole Foods has got 4 other locations in the city of Seattle, just not in Capitol Hill, because you got a bunch of nut jobs running around. No, I did a whole deep dive on Capitol Hill. There's all kinds of theories out there. And this store it's got crazy people. It's got people on drugs. It's got that whole, plethora of what Seattle has allowed to take place on our public streets. People whacked out on drugs that are homeless, running around doing crazy stuff willy-nilly. It doesn't exactly scream safety in a grocery store environment. Now, there's also, so our store is right here. Our grocery store is right here. Across the street, there's supposed to be some kind of development into some kind of housing / mental health care treatment. So maybe leadership from Whole Foods just said, it's going to get worse. No, we can't take it. We cannot take it. Now, it's my understanding that there's been shenanigans in Capitol Hill. You've got stuff going on. You've got, just wacky, nutty people. I've had people text me and comment to me, hey, Sean, what is up with the QFC? I think it's on Broadway in Capitol Hill. What's up with that QFC? There's just a bunch of lunatics and whacked out drug addicts sleeping at the entrance. Well, that's not just QFC. It's a bunch of other stores as well. It's just that right now we are seeing a whole bunch of these closures happen, and not just to grocery stores. But what caught my eye with this one is that this business should be very successful where it is. Maybe they've got to spend so much on security to not have these whacked out nut jobs come into the store, steal stuff, eat stuff, do crazy stuff in the restrooms, have sex with prostitutes, do drugs, sell drugs, whacked out nutty stuff. I mean, that is literally the storyline of San Francisco Whole Foods that was there for 18 months. Remember that? They had somebody die, an overdose in the restroom. They caught prostitutes and their clients having sex in there. Imagine going shopping. You got little Johnny and you're pushing the cart. You need to go change a diaper and hey now, what's going on here? Oh, shit. Close that door. You see a bunch of that stuff, and you can understand corporate is like, you know what? Our lease is up. We've got other stores. We'd rather not have something really horrific happen. Let's just dip out of here. And we'll say that, we regularly evaluate our stores and, their profitability. But what I think is a huge factor here is the safety factor. They don't want to have and insurance. And I mean, I'm sure insurance is going, all right, you're in Seattle. Whoop, that's a telltale sign right there. You're in Seattle. Oh, you're on Broadway on Capitol Hill. Oh, you want a policy here? You want a liability policy? I got to tell you, this is going to be expensive. This is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me. Got to be honest with you. It's an insurance broker. I think there's a component to insurance. I think there's a component to absolute liability. And if you're juggling all those things and you've got a store that maybe costs thousands of dollars a month, way over budget for your security just to stay in business, I think that is what's happening. Stores are, by and large, saying, we're no longer willing to take these risks. And because they've got other stores in the city, they got another 4 stores in the city, they can't just trash the city and say, hey, why don't you guys get off your ass and get some of these people, these lunatics, off the street and make the streets a little bit safer? Why don't you guys do that? They can't really do that because they're already doing business and they don't want to rock the boat. So that's how they come up with this. We regularly evaluate the performance and growth potential of our stores and make decisions to position the company for long-term success. That's a bunch of hand motions for what corporate people do, which is just meh, right? They're coming up with cover because they want to keep doing business. They want to keep making money. And yet this one store here, not so much. Let's read some of the comments. I was pointed in this direction from a far better journalist, Jeremy Harris, than myself. He said, hey, go check out Seattle WA, and there's a link on the Whole Foods. And it's literally Whole Foods closing its Capitol Hill location. Every grocery store in that area feels like a third world nation. Oh, is that good? I mean, a lot of upside potential there, right? Third world nation, develop. No, that's not what you want in your grocery store. Third world nation. Random people harassing you, shoplifting in broad daylight, and druggies passed out on the sidewalk. All the security and shrink costs cut in to their thin margins. 392 people gave that a thumbs up. Damn, this location was great for reducing my trips to QFC. Read a lot about that. QFC on Broadway and Pike has significantly improved in the past few months. They actually have working security gates, a guard posted at the gate, exit entrance, and another one to check your receipt, leaving the self-checkout line. Listen to what you have to go through a regular grocery store to get your effing groceries, and guaranteed a whole bunch of the product at QFC is behind lock and key. I use that location daily since it's close to work and rarely see the usual Capitol Hill crazies in there. Outside might be different, but inside has definitely improved because they've got it on lockdown like a prison. And Amazon Whole Foods said, well, we got the potential for a whole bunch of nut jobs across the street, and we're already in the war zone. We're already in ground zero. We're out of here. This is an easy call to me. We don't want to have to deal with this location anymore. We're done. Because otherwise there is no reason that they didn't say, hey, we're moving to here, or we're going to redevelop this store here, which they probably will. But they're doing that kind of just, we're just going to kind of leave and, I'm with you. I'm not faulting the businesses for this unless they're refusing to call the police and detain the offenders until they arrive. Otherwise, this is the direct result of what appears to be a city government that doesn't care about property crimes. 100% true. You see it with burglaries, car prowls, and other miscellaneous theft here. The businesses are just trying to stay afloat. I can understand why they would close their doors and choose to relocate elsewhere. Sounds awful, but it's good that they're making it harder to steal. It'll discourage bad actors from hanging out outside. The bad actors in Seattle are whacked out of their mind on drugs, plain and simple. And they've got mental health issues. They need to be in treatment, they need to be in psych wards, or they need to be in jail. We're not doing any one of those three or even a combination. So expect more of this to continue. So it goes on to say, QFC has had employed Phoenix security who are literally off-duty cops, carry handcuffs and a gun in a grocery store because it's that dangerous. They need that type of security. Not the guy with the little can of mace, full-on off-duty cops, because it's that bad. All this because Seattle refuses to prosecute criminals. Huh? No way. Is that true? Yeah, absolutely. It's what you get. This is what you get. Yeah. These are the repercussions for bad actions, which is you don't really prosecute crime in Seattle anymore. At what point does a store just do 100% order pay in advance and pick up only model? Why do you need people wandering about? The future would have robots get everything for you to pick up. No theft, crazy people, staff burnout. Well, I think so many people want to, they want to be able to handle their tomatoes. They want to be able to choose their whatever. They want to have that grocery shopping experience. That's what I do. I want to be able to have a tiny little bit of control over the food I'm going to get. And that's why I don't like to do the delivery service, because I don't get to pick out what I want. And I think other people are like that. It's like, go to the store and get stuff for dinner kind of thing. If you have the option to go to a store where you can pick out your food, or it's just in a bag for you and here's what you get, now maybe you're okay with that. But I think a lot of people want to make their food choices. They want to look at it, they want to see it, and they want to go, yep, that's what I'm putting in my body. But Whole Foods, no longer an option in a neighborhood of Seattle that should otherwise be very conducive to the economics of selling groceries in Capitol Hill. Yeah, it's crime. You got crime pushing businesses out, and this is nothing new. It's crime. You're allowing the whacked out nut jobs to just run around, and this is what you get. For better or for worse. And in this case, it's for the worse. So otherwise corporate would have come right out and said, hey, we couldn't come to a lease agreement with our landlord. Fair enough. That's a totally legit answer. Instead, they come up with this Mickey Mouse stuff, and they're not actually telling us what the real reason is that they're leaving. It's just a bunch of corporate mumbo jumbo. It's a bunch of doublespeak. Well, we evaluate and we reconsider and we reimagine and we rethink. And you're like, you just said a bunch of words like Kamala Harris that meant nothing. Unburdened by what has been. And you're left with what? What did you? Oh, never mind. You're corporate and you're making excuses for why you just closed down a store that should otherwise have zero issues operating, making a profit, and returning on investment. This is Seattle. That's not what we're doing. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.